Hello everyone, my name is Hectic and we have to talk a little bit about something concerning the agents in Valorant. Yes, and let's start off with Phoenix here. Yes, I believe people are overestimating Phoenix, yeah. I think Phoenix is not as great of an agent as people play him out to be. Is he better than some? Yes. Let's get into that. Let's start off with what does he bring to the table, which in my opinion is not that much. Let's start off with his signature Q ability, which is Curveball. Yes, this is his flash. It could go around corners like that, flash enemies, and blind them. Oh my god, as I flash myself. To be able to get killed. So you know what flashes are if you're a CSGO player. Yes, you flash around the corner, boom, they're stunned, they're blinded for a little bit, should be easy kills. However, this trajectory is a bit predictable. Yes, you're standing in this corner. I'm gonna use a frenzy here because I'm not using a guardian for this example. If you're standing here, the enemy's somewhere here. Yes, you're in this corner, you know you're going up against a Phoenix. Do you know the only places if you're going here that the flash is going is right there. Maybe they might try to trick you with a reverse one, so you can be ready for that about right here, or you just move into a position where you know Phoenix is not going to flash up right here. And that's the problem most people get into when they're engaging a Phoenix, is that they get way too close to Phoenix's flash and they do that. Yeah, all you have to do is look at the flash and you get blinded. However, it's most effective when it's right close up, because that's the only way you're gonna use this, right? Is just like that and boom. Yeah, you're popping somebody. This has the most predictable trajectory imaginable for this. It's not like a sky flash where it's like, oh my god, when are they gonna pop it? No, you pop it, boom, boom, and you're probably dead within that. However, a disciplined player, unfortunately me, I do have to work on this a little bit, does get destroyed a little bit within this, because most of the time flashes mean that you're dead within. If you're a good player and you know how to flash, once you flash somebody, they're dead. Yeah, that's dead. That's gonna, in high elo, that's what it's gonna be. Yes, however, Phoenix's flash, just look at this. This is the only range that's... Let's talk about this right. If you flash right, what is that going to cover? That's going to cover a little bit of here, a little bit of there if they happen to be peeked up, but that's mainly going to cover that area. Yeah? So all somebody has to do is just not to be right up in front. He flashes there. Boom, you're gone there. I mean, does it cover? It doesn't. It provides a bit of value within that. I can't really argue with it. These flashes, however, it's not the weakest flashes. The weakest flashes belong to Reyna. We're going to talk a little bit about that in this video, but it's the next worst blind in the game. Even Omen's blind's a little bit better within that, because you can better predict within that one. So I mean, his blind's alright if they happen to be looking at it in a line of sight, but if they're not, that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help you that much, especially if they're like, I don't know, tucked in a corner over there. What you would do is you would stick here and you would do a sky blind. Sky flash would reach much further within that. So as far as range, it doesn't have that much than that. That's, in some of you say that's maybe not a valid argument. You might be right with that. Phoenix's flashes are tricky, and you do have to well place him for it to work. However, in my opinion, it's one of the worst blinds just for that sake of that, because while the blind itself might be a little bit effective, the play is predictable. Yes, you're not gonna do that just defensively. I might, because that's how I played pretty much every character, is very defensively. But you know that if Phoenix is gonna flash there, boom, he's peeking off there, and there's only so many angles that he's gonna come from. Yep. Even if you do it a reverse flash, yeah, somewhat predictable. Next, let's talk about his wall. His blaze wall is actually, it's a little bit useful. Yeah, it can temporarily block off line of sight. Yeah, and then that help you reposition. Then that, and you can even curve it to look at how much that covers to reposition, and you can use it to heal. Although if you're going to use it to heal, unless you used your molly already, I wouldn't recommend using the wall. You usually use the wall and the molly in conjunction if you're going to heal that much. But not as a main healing method. You're just gonna use it just to block off temporary sight. But also look at that. Yeah, look at how much space is in between that wall. Yeah, that's a much tighter wall. But I mean, look at that. Yeah. And it does damage enemies as people walk through, just like a neon wall within that. A better, unlike the Vibra wall where it just decays within that. So, I mean, it has its purpose. However, there are better walls in the game. Yes, Viper's wall is much better because it goes much longer and can be used in better purposes. This is more what I would call this more short-range use and temporary line of sight. If you need to just quickly reposition. You can employ some bit of trickery in that, like you're just doing that. Instead of being behind the wall, you can be all the way over here to reposition, block off line of sight. Yes, but Neon's wall, actually Neon's wall only beats out Phoenix's wall because it's double and it blocks off 2 lanes of sight. The only weakness is that middle stretch. If you get caught in that middle stretch, the enemies get you there, but it blocks off 2 lines of sight, and that's more than 1, so that's an advantage that Phoenix does not have. However, it's a straight wall. Viper's wall is infinitely better. Even Sage's wall is a little bit better because that's solid, that lasts the longest, and it'll fully block a little bit of line of sight, except for like on elevated stuff. I'll explain that more in another agent video, but it's more solid and serves basically more purpose than just blocking off with a Phoenix wall. But if you have no other wall options, this is fine. Yes, so again, not really absolutely terrible, but there are just better options that just make Phoenix's wall maybe not the best use. It's more to be used in conjunction. Yes, his hot hands within this is basically a healing tool. If you use this as a molly, I mean, it has okay range, but that's about where it falls. There's a bit of a fall off after a while. I think that's about it. Yes, and the area covered, actually I was about to say Brim's molly is a little bit bigger, but has a more radius, but I think they're the same length, so I can't make that argument anymore. I thought about that more before doing this video. If you watch this far, by the way, guys, you're wondering why are you doing a video in this format. It's because I have no Phoenix gameplay right now. If I have an agent gameplay, I will do it more in that. It would make it a little bit more entertaining. But but his mollies, unless also as far as like actually being an actual molly, here's the thing with that I think that Brim's molly serves more of a purpose, but then there's just better molly options. Unless if somebody just full rushes that, it doesn't last that long. Yes, you see that? You see how quickly that dissipates? Brim's molly lasts much longer than that. Killjoy's mollies you can place anywhere you want and activate them at any time, and they do damage much quicker, much faster. Brim's molly can be lined up, within that, placed wherever, where this one has a bit of a fall off. Kale's Molly is a little bit weird, but that's a little bit more useful in that case. I can't think of any other specific who has Molly, perhaps. I think that's all for the Molly. Viper's Molly, I think, does a little bit faster, I'm not sure. But those can also be lined up too. Now, are there Phoenix Molly lineups? Yes. But this is mainly a healing tool. And also, here's also another point, but also not a point. It does damage your teammates, unfortunately. All of the Mollies in the game can harm your teammates. I think they might have patched the one for KO as far as making it very reduced damage. But Phoenix's will hurt a bit. But I just think if you're going to use a Molly, just use some of the other. There's just better options. Unless you like combine that with something. Yes, it's not really that great. I think that if you're going to use Molly, use it with like lineups or just do that. Because that's as close as you're going to get with this. I would rather use a Brim Molly where I'd want to, like, you know. But it's decent. It's a good healing device, though. I'll tell you that. But again, also within the healing, I think it's slightly better than Sage's healing. I'm not sure. Faster, I'd have to check that. But there's just better Molly options out there. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Yes, so. And all of these points, you're like, but you're hectic, you're contradicting yourself within each one of these. I'm going to get into a wrap-up. There's going to be one point that I make that you're going to be like, oh, that's why you said both sides of it. Let's talk about his ult here. Yes, his ult, run it back, is basically, it is a second life, and that's can be a powerful tool in this game. Yes. But do you have to use this wisely? Yes, and many people are just going to use it for frags. It's within that. And while frags are good in that, frags by themselves aren't actually going to get you better at the game. It is a team-based game, unfortunately. Yes, it'll be good enough for those low elos, like once you start passing like silver, but once you get into like gold and stuff, it's going to be yikes. Yeah, because Phoenix's thing, it could just get sprayed down. You hear that sound cue that he ulted, and boom. And boom, you know, you're directing all your attention onto him. Make sure that he gets out of there before he can eliminate. I just think the concept of just ulting for frags is not really what Valorant should be based off of. That's called self-sufficient, and that means you just want just the frags for yourself, as opposed to actually providing value for the team. And I think team play, here's the thing, what I think, and this is where I'm gonna get the backlash. Quite honestly, if an entire team has 0 kills but they work together really well, that's better than a team that gets carried by like 20. Like the Phoenix is going like 30-3, and everybody else is struggling because this guy's just getting all the kills. Yes, that's not gonna make you better. That will that help you win games? Yes and no. But that's also called, well, in some cases that's called smurfing. That's not going to help you personally win games. That ability is basically saying, hey, I'm going to use this to out-aim everybody, which is pretty much the tactic that you're trying to employ here, so that you're going to aim. Now, when you're outnumbered, here's the positives about this, and there's 2 other ways that you can use this. You can use this to, when you're the last person around and you're outnumbered, it'll give you an extra life, so you could potentially get a frag within that, and then live again. All your armor will go away, but you can live again to engage another person. That provides some value, within that, so you have to be smart within that. But it also, and that's pretty much the only like really good thing that would do. I wouldn't use that as an entry method to do that, because getting frags doesn't mean anything. So like here, boom, oh my god, if I get a frag just like that, what value does that do if there's somebody there or there? Yes, I ult in, I get about 1 kill, and then I instantly, my ult goes away from the other one, or I could engage when they're engaging on site. That's actually not taking, it's not taking space. Yes, that's just fragging it, because you need other things. You need walls, you need blinds, you need smokes for the teams. And before Phoenix ults in there, you should have an initiator setup or a controller setup with smokes, so you could do that. Or within Phoenix case, you should do this. Flash, or that would be a more appropriate flash, and then boom. Or you wall off an angle. And I know you have limited time, but use your util in conjunction with that. And you can get some value out of that, but just I wouldn't necessarily use it as an entry tool unless you're well coordinated. Now the next thing people would argue, and even I could see argue this, is you're going to ult for info. Yes, you're gonna ult out there. You see enemies within that. Either you run behind the cover, or you get killed because they shot you, but you got like a frag, or you didn't, but you have info of where they are. Here's the thing. While that may be useful, especially if you're the only one that can theoretically gain info on a team, that as an info gathering method, that's not really the greatest. Just play. We have tons of characters that can help you gain info. Yes, Sova, Sky, KO, Cypher, Killjoy, even Raze with their boombot, Chamber with this like trap thingy, even though he has only one. There's so many better options that you can go if you're going to go for info. Yes, use that in conjunction. Have your initiator set up info within that. Basically, if you already have somebody for info, you shouldn't be using it for info at all, unless if you're the only thing that has info, like you're running arena or something else within that and no initiator. Then you can ult it for info. Yes, but just ulting generally for info is not really the greatest idea. And so what is the point that I'm trying to make? You'll be thinking, but hectic, doesn't all of this make Phoenix good? And here's the thing. In of itself, no. I don't think that this game should be based off of characters to make a personal gain, like as in boom, just to personally frag out, to help your team frag out. Yes, that's why I love having initiator, because they just set up like Sova. Once you get that info, boom, you're playing off of info. You need to learn how to play off of info. Blinds are great, walls are great, mollies have their uses, and ults that give you another one, that's great, but they mean nothing if you have an uncoordinated team. Yes, this game should not be based off of who has the better aim, which it comes off of who has the better team gameplay and who has the better aim. Yes, because in the end, two teams, if you're playing against two really good teams, you're a good team and the opponents are a good team, then it'll come down to the strategy, the aim, everything else will fall in place. On its own, you can't have anything without team play, unfortunately, in this game. Can you survive solo? Sometimes, but I've solo queued many times, and it's a literal 50-50, because team play is just not present in the game all the time. So Phoenix is a good pick if you have a well-coordinated team. Yes, Phoenix almost needs to act as a what I'd call a backwards initiator. You need to act off of somebody else. Yes, so basically what I'd say is maybe if a breach flashes, you could double flash that within that, or you're trying to take sight. The first thing that should go out is not a Phoenix blind. It should be like a Sova dart, or even a Sky blind for info, or Sky dog, or something with info should go first. Then once you have that, or if you don't, because sometimes I can just hide from the info, then you pull out the flash. And then you wall. Yes? Then you wall, and then you could do all of that stuff. Then you can ult and do whatever. Yes? There's a misconception that duelists need to be the first one in. Which, by the way, that was a bad ult. I'm gonna briefly get over that one. Duelists need to be the first one in with that. Get a frag, get out. Yes or no? First one's in. I can agree with that, but not without following it up from a team. If you have a poor team, let's say you have an Omen, you have a Phoenix, you have a Sage, you happen to have a chain. Let's just throw it. Well, actually, I don't want to put it in chamber within that situation. Let's say you have either another Sentinel in there. Let's say you have a Killjoy, and you have, just to throw it in to make it valid into this one, you have another controller. Let's say you have a Viper within that. Yes, there's no real info gatherer to that. So what needs to happen in that case? Yes, Phoenix does need to interfight first, but think about your team comp. Your smokes go out first, your Viper wall goes out next, then your Phoenix blinds, and then he can entry within that. Yes, duelists should not be relied on to entry on their own, but off of a team. Yes, listen to those words. Yes, that's. I may be at a lower level, but there's certain things. I know some of these things that I can apply. And while I'm working on other things like movement and still refining a little bit things of the aim within that and how angles work, at least I know that stuff within that. When you know that, that's where your comms are going to get good. And that's why I stressed comms are the most important things. So learn these things. I would say that's important. Then the main things holding me back are not those things. It's movement. It's a little bit more refinement of aim. Learning angles within that. Not saying, oh, I'm duelist. Boom, let's go team. Yes, I'm waiting for that info to go in. Yes, now if that just doesn't happen, if they forget, then fine. We have no other choice. You have to make some sort of move within that. Although technically you never have to take a site unless if fast pace is going to be the only way you win that round, or you just been sitting there for like 3 minutes. I mean, at some point you have to make a move. At some point, you can't just let them have that site. But in a way, you don't always have to play fast. Yes. So work with your team when you're playing with Phoenix. Yes. So look at your team call. What goes first is info and or smokes. Then the duelist thing. Yes, I think in order of who should enter, like if we're in a line right here of 5 people, the people that should enter in there, you should have your initiator throw out the util, your things behind the util. Boom, your duelist flash or do whatever. They go, yeah, I do agree. They should go in first because they should be set up. They should be set up for the engagement. Yes, they should either know where somebody is, or you have line of sights blocked off that you can just come in. If you have, just to throw it in, you have lines of sights blocked off, so you won't be actively looking there. Yes, and you can position however you need to. Yes. So really don't give me the argument duelists should be the first ones in. I do agree with that, but not after the utility goes out. Yes. Now getting a frag and then dying, while that is valuable, again I bring out the point, not if you don't have utility, because then your duelist does die for nothing. Yes. And don't give me that's the role of the duelist, is just to get frags and die for nothing. No, that's not, that's basically in that point you should play with one less teammate on that, so on both sides, because if you get a frag and then somebody else fragged, that basically means what did you do? You just eliminated one person each side. So the advantage is still there. Even if the duelist survives within that, they can just get picked off from another angle because something's not blocked off or nobody flashed or anything. It means nothing. Let's say not even using util here. And util here, you're going into a site. Okay, I need to aim better than that. You go into a site, boom. That means nothing because somebody else here could be ready. Boom. No, but if you do that and then that, although not with that much delay, and that wall should have been a little bit shorter, but you get the basic idea. That's how you enter, guys. Yes. And it's playing a duelist is a role that you really gotta nail down a lot. And unfortunately, sometimes it feels like in Valorant that if you can't play a duelist, you can't win games, which it seems like. And unfortunately, the duelist role right now, unless you're at much higher ranks, but especially in low rank where I'm at, why it struggle is because duelists are run by aim gods, not even kidding you. Yes. That's what they use it for. They use it for this purpose only. Boom. There's flash, run in, get the kills within that. It's not a good thing at all. That's not really team play, but apparently it's effective. Just because it's effective does not mean that it's smart. Yes, there's times for that and there's times not. So last point that I'm going to make before I wrap this out, because I know I'm just saying the same things over and over and y'all getting bored of this. Yes, I'm a YouTuber. I also know you're my audience. Does this apply to every single duelist? No. Mainly Phoenix, mainly Reyna. I'm going to talk about Reyna in another video, and it's mainly going to be the same things except for worse, because Phoenix is actually, I would say, better than Reyna. And it's Raze provides better because she can physically take space as opposed to blocking off, repositioning, flashing, and then getting a kill to take space after you're getting set up for the team. Duelists like Reyna and Jett and even Neon can take that space themselves using the utility, whether it's a Jett smoke and then dashing into a site with already util set up to take an engagement. Boom. Yes, you actually physically took the space. You had everything right, which again, don't do that unless you have info or you have stuff smoked off, which Jett is fine. In that case, you don't have smokes. Use Jett as the smoke. Boom. You smoke off an angle. Boom. You dash into sight. You take a different angle and you get that kill and you've taken sight and you can position easily. Yes, that's physically taking sight. Raze could do about the same thing minus the smoke. Hang on, let me take care of this. Guns. I'm And Race could do the same thing. Neon can. Even Yoru can with a little bit repositioning because he's more big brain. He's more like big brain Phoenix. He's basically everything Phoenix wishes he could be, except for he doesn't have a wall. But he doesn't need a wall because Phoenix is, or Yoru rather, is literally S tier. Yes, he's a god. So no, it does not apply to every single duelist, but Reina specifically is just worse than Phoenix in that case because all she does blind in, boom, you kill it. Her ult is basically just super fast speed, and it's a menace in low ranks because, again, people who are either A Smurfy or just have really good aim, it's just an aim duel, and it's basically CS:GO all over again, which is not what Valorant wants to be, as we can tell. So unless if that's the direction that we want to do, yikes. Yes, Reina provides no team value. For self value, sure, but then that. So that's what you guys have to understand. That's why I think Phoenix should not be as hyped as we think. Is he a good agent? In the right situations, yes, and in a skilled hand, yes. You have to work on the timing. You have to know why you're throwing out the util. Within all of that, yes, coordinate with team. Imagine that, a duelist coordinating with team. Yes, it's not just about you. So I hope this thing helps you learn something, gives you a different perspective on how to do this. I actually don't play a lot of duelists, but if you needed me to, unfortunately my playstyle, my defensive playstyle would kick in. So you're thinking, oh, you're playing duelist wrong. No, I'll play off of util. Now, will I frag in after that? Probably not, if there's another duelist in there. But that's just basically me. But I do have that knowledge there that if I need to, I can do everything that I need to and provide the value for the team. If nothing else, at least I get some bit info. Yes. So just don't think that I'm a hypocrite. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No, if I need to do it in game, I'll show you guys. Yes, and if you want me to try showing some Phoenix plays within this, like in game or something, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll show you what I actually mean, and we'll do it step by step. I'll probably have to get one of my friends to do it. We do it step by step, like actually coordinated to show what I mean. So hopefully you guys learned something about that. About Phoenix and the duelist role. I'm sorry that was long. That was a lot to explain, but this is one of those examples of me saying every single thing that I said mattered. And if I made this video any bit short, I would have way too many arguments in the comments below that I think if given the length of this video, this would probably nullify most of the arguments that I have. So let me know your opinions in the comments down below, and we can have a chill conversation about it, because maybe there is something about Phoenix that I haven't thought of that might just nullify everything that I just said. But I think I logically deduced the role that Phoenix would play and his utility and the duelist role in general. So my name is Hectic. I'll see you guys in the next one.